Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. This gives you a deeper knowledge of the Philosopher's Stone, the Dark Arts, the unification of the primordial mother, the deciphering code of yin and yang within a Taoist path, the rite of passage, the Taoist rite of passage that is the very knowing that will be sparked and seeded with the unification of now. Enjoy the video and do not forget to stay to the end as we give you an example of that unification. Welcome to the Consciousness of the Way. My divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jadis.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
We be back, we be down. And I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Qing. We be down, we get down with the get down. We are back in business. Mm-hmm. And what a profound day that happens to be the very day of the eve of many things. And most people will be like, really, Jifu? Let me guess. You're going to tell me you're going to release a book. You're going to do some other thing. Yeah, we've been waiting. We've been slowly like
time and
slowly like salivating and masticating over the idea that maybe there's some said wisdom or knowledge that's coming out of a near future experience. Well, this is very so, which leads me to the very nature of this episode, which, the very book that I'm releasing is called Return, the Immortal's Path of Self-Realization through the ancient alchemy of the Tao. Oh, yeah, baby.
Like chills.
And so we're talking about really a deeper nature of how we come to this conclusion and said evidence of the primordial mother. For the average seeker, for someone that is just walking a path of the mundane as we would perceive it, as just an everyday Joe who would just believe that they wake up and go to sleep, they work for most of their lives, they achieve the said goal, which is part of the system and programming, and then they die. Well, there's just so much more to this. I mean, the evidence of the mother, the presence of that within this electromagnetism that we call this currency, that is basically the formation of whatever your attention intention creates, from light to wave to matter to particle, realized as dukkha, as my dear friend Martin, the Buddhist monk, would say, which is really the currency that we work in. You are generating from the cloth of perfection, the unification of all things, the so said gravity that would be the assumption that gravity is love, the unification of everything. It comes back to your perception. You're altering that, creating from that what we call energy. And that energy is evidenced with that polarizing electromagnetism. And the path of the Taoist Seeker is to merge the yin and yang, to bring those together as one, as identified within the deciphering code of yin and yang. And that is the magical mystery ride that you go through as your Sherlock to your Watson, to find the center point, to obtain the golden ring. Oh, yes, my pretty. Oh, yes, it will be mine. But furthermore, when you look inquiry, when you are curious, you will find that that golden ring that Gollum is looking for is the very source of all things, which resides in that center point. Now, we talk about alchemy, And if you were to decipher just the word in of itself, in essence, the messaging is clear. It's the relationship with the Tao and the path and pursuit of the dark arts. So, what does that even mean, Jifu? Dark arts sounds a little ominous. Of course it would if you were coming from a very limited humanistic perspective of reality, that you are subject to this electromagnetism and it gives you limit to. And by limit to, you are stuck in identifying as good and bad, up and down, in and out, heaven and hell. This is more said evidence of your journey. So, what is the desire and the conclusion of an alchemist is to be able to solidify and merge and transform, as you would say, from evidence of the expression of said seeker, i.e., this fellow, this young chap by the name of JC, or furthermore Jesus Christ, when he said he would turn water into wine. Alchemy is the very essence of that. You find that within your relationship. That chill that we're getting right now is that said evidence, because that is the unification. That is the merging of yin and yang from a Taoist seeker. Now, our equivalent, our excessive equivalent to that very seeker, that alchemist, comes in the form of many different wisdom teachings, because the true essence of Taoism is to know thyself. Self-mastery, self-realization is the undercurrent of your knowing. And from that, you start with inquiry. From inquiry creates curiosity. From curiosity, you develop hope. From hope, it blossoms into a belief system. From that belief system, it is realized as a knowing through your experiential moments. Experience is the only thing. You must feel it. This is the true core teachings of any seeker. And once you obtain that, the alchemy regulates your internal, external, your identification of the primordial mother and the evidence of this material as we acquire it as the reflection of light, the shimmering effect of yang, which is the presence of the Tao. Oh yeah, baby.
And I think that's so interesting. Maybe we can touch on this, where I feel like so many people, when they get into this spiritual space, are interested in, I want to shift everything around me. I want the world to be a better place. I want the earth to be a better place. I want my community to be, healthier and happier and less crime and this and that. And they look very externally, whereas you just mentioned right now within Taoism, it is a self-mastery. It's an internal practice versus, I think spirituality or even organized religion looks very much on affecting everything else on the outside. It's not, you know what I mean? You're not looking inward.
Well, that's a great observation, my dear friend, Jadis. Furthermore, through that inquiry, your Sherlock to your Watson, elementary, my dear Watson, is that self-mastery, that realization, because that unification is where you access the secret source. And as we know, as a lens of a Taoist seeker, you observe and realize that reality is nothing more than a bellows. You are contracting and expanding at the same time. You are all things and nothing at the same time. This draws you to this symbiotic relationship that yin and yang has, and that is the merging of those two, bringing us back to the alchemical process. Alchemy in of itself, in definition, is your path to the Tao through the dark arts. Now, that dark art is identifying the primordial mother, the void. Now, what's most interesting from a physics lens, you would say that light is all colors and everything. That is the expression of that. Yet darkness is the absorption of all colors. Now, in further inquiry, you will understand that the merging is when you obtain the unification, which would seem impossible as they were polarizing as opposites. As the old expression, opposites attract. Now, the creation, the seed of all things, comes from the void, the darkness, the primordial mother. Now, you can see reflection of that within your numerology, within your physical flesh, as you identify from a Taoist some of the most profound ancient rituals as we look into the eye. The left eye is deep into the center of the soul of that particular individual, that fractal or facet of the diamond of perfection, as the unification of one is evident and self-evident within the numerology. So when we look at the ascension, as we ascend, we are able to see. If you're standing here and you're looking at me and your face is in front of mine, you observe only what you see. If you stand and get on a ladder and walk up or climb up that ladder and look down on me, you see all. This observation, this realization is the ascended path of now. And you only see what you see. Furthermore, you know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And so the level of ascension gives you the ability to unify and merge with one. And this separation is the illusion. This separation is the currency that you will said move in, operate in, transact in, as this is all another facet of this magnetism, electromagnetism, the material that we perceive as said self. And so your mission, if you choose to accept it, Ethan Hawke, is to find that center point, because within the center point is the Vesica, the Wu Ji, the primordial mother. That center point will reveal all. That unification is the one, as a physicist would say, the singular, which we are perfection, manifest. That is evident within the compression of the said diamond, which is the byproduct of your ability to access between the breath in and the breath out, this condensing moment of now. And furthermore, through the mastery, the cultivation, you will find this within the dark arts, within the alchemical process. And we will share it with you. You will merge with it. It will return you to who you are, and you will know that this present moment is all that you have. Oh, yeah, baby.
It's so interesting that you say the dark arts and the void. Instantly, when you say that, I think of like when you go to sleep, when you close your eyes, and like, you know, how almost when you close your eyes, you can see more in that darkness than you can with your eyes open. And this whole, you know, that's when people really have, you know, dream magic, lucid dreaming, astral projection, out of body experiences is in that dark arts, if you want to call it a different name, of dreaming, and that dream state, that unconscious kind of imagination just comes to life.
Well, this is said evidence. So yin and yang is the truth for any seeker that realizes on the Taoist path, the righteous Taoist rights path of all knowing. You walk that path to reveal perfection manifest. Furthermore, as you merge the yin and yang, you find evidence of that between the breath in and the breath out. When you hold that breath, you absorb what we call the riches. And as you absorb the riches, it becomes more and more, within nanoseconds, the accumulation of those riches that permeate and regulate and saturate to a subatomic level, and it will be evident in the electromagnetism. And all of a sudden, you are alive. You have this evidence of this merging of these energies. That unification will be used as manifestation, magic, and healing. Oh, yeah, baby. This is the alchemical process. And furthermore, just as we refer to turning water into wine, the alchemical process is part of what many rituals for many ancient indigenous practices within Taoism. We are very clear that we merge the sun, the earth, and the moon, and with that, we use that alchemical process. Platinum, gold, and silver is revealed, and it is tangible. And from that, you create anything. You merge and unify as one, which will give you this evidence that you can create within this material. You are no longer separated. You are no longer psychological. You are one with all things. The mind is not separate from the body. The unification is clear. Physical, energetic, spiritual as one. And that will be evident by the frequency. And that's where we get down with the get down. You understand that your attention intention creates from this perfection, unified state what we call distortion. This is the electromagnetism. So, you have this dualistic perspective. People are walking the path to obtain what they call non-dualist, non-centric, just now. You could even possibly argue or conversate in the idea that that is a nihilistic state, because to be nothing, you are everything. And that is the Taoist path. That goes right back to the bellows. Furthermore, when you see this, you see it within everything as an offering of expression. As I refer to as we come back around to the looking into the soul through the left eye. From a neurological perspective, if you just water it down to the neuroplasticity of the physical flesh, your left eye is attached to your right brain. Your right eye is attached to your left brain. And from that, you take that lens to look into the intellect, to look into the intuitive. And of course, when you merge those two together, you find the center point, the vesica, the third eye that so many ancient indigenous practices refer to. This unification reveals all within this electromagnetism. Another said evidence of an insight, what we discovered, what we call for many hundreds of thousands of years within Taoism, we refer to it as a sensory perception, and from that it blossoms into all these superhuman or supernatural abilities that come in the form of telepathy, telekinesis, psychokinesis, pyrokinesis. This is said evidence, manifestation, magic, healing. This is how we get there. Oh, yeah, baby.
And for everyone out there who's wondering the difference between, am I telling myself I'm feeling this? Am I actually feeling this? Where do you determine what you want to hear, what you think you're hearing versus the knowing?
Right. And this is where the path of mastering that arts, mastering your identification, your realization that you are no place, person, or thing. You are the now moment, and that breath reveals that as the primordial mother, the unification of all things. And so when you look at even someone, a seeker, as recently as a physicist that resonates more with the Taoist path, is said Nassim Haramein, who reveals his zeros and ones, and furthermore, we will return to the numerology and the zeros and ones and the effect of that and what that really means within the Taoist path momentarily. Stay tuned, stand by on this particular podcast. Furthermore, when we look at this, we come to the understanding that his evidence reveals what we have known as Taoists for thousands and thousands of years. He returns to the evidence of what we have known as the unification at the event horizon of a black hole is abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. This is the very seed that is the superglue to what someone would perceive as the entanglement. Furthermore, the evidence of what Albert Einstein referred to as the spooky action, the bending of reality. Yeah, baby. We've been doing this well before Einstein got that crinkly, weird, fuzzy hairdo and that overgrown mustache that is so unique to him. And quite frankly, I love that whimsical, quirky-looking expression of the human condition. He discovered that he came to the tip of it through his mentorship with another physicist by the name of Max Planck, who helped him reveal what he considered the nature of reality. Yet he was never able to complete the hypotheses to validate it as said self. It was more a contemplation, and he had many examples of it through the binary code to give him the answers that he needed. So now we fast forward to literally 100 years later within the human timeline, and we sit here, and the Taoists have known this for thousands of years. We have a ritual within the alchemical process, observing the death of a star, the raising of the red phoenix, revealing the black hole energy, which is the unification of all things, which is the said evidence, the absorption, which is the mother, the primordial mother, the void. Oh, yeah, baby, you got that. Mm-hmm. Now, when this is revealed, we refer back to the alchemy. This is what many indigenous practices, many seekers over the human timeline have been seeking this very power. They refer to it as the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is the merging of this stone that has the ability to turn lead into gold. Oh, yeah, baby. Now, when we reveal the very essence of the rising of the red phoenix is the access of the center point of said observer realized as the knower, the primordial mother. This center point is right here. And within that, a Taoist seeker has access to what we call the Dantian, which is the energy field, the elixir field. That energy center would be referred to as the fourth chakra within other indigenous practices. The color itself has never been in question. The color itself has always been the same stone, and that stone is the ruby red. Mm. The ruby red. The ruby red. The ruby red. I'll say it one more time. Now, if you are looking at the Philosopher's Stone, furthermore, it's always been depicted as a stone, deep and rich and red in color. Mm. You can't make this shit up. And
is that the misdirection?
That is the misdirection. And you must find that through the merging. You merge these alchemical processes internally as that is the return that you have, you always return. Your return is remembering to know who you are as that unificated state of knowing that is the primordial mother. You are all things and nothing at the same time, but the evidence must be self-realized. It must be experiential. You cannot have spoken word from talking heads and information that accumulates to be nothing more than a contemplation. It must be experienced. As we always remind you, if you are thinking, you are not knowing. If you're knowing, you are feeling. And so this presents itself. And this defies any alchemical process that is taught within a Taoist path. This is why I still will do the Pepsi challenge with anybody. Let's do the taste test. This is self-realized. To know that that said evidence is given to you when you merge and you reveal the black hole energy. Now, Nassim Haramein has this evidence through his zeros and ones. This is not a hypothesis. He has receipts. He's releasing it in peer-reviewed science, and the world will become a better place. This is something that we've known about for thousands of years as a Taoist. The fear of the darkness is the first evidence that you are not on the path, that you have yet to realize it, because part of ascension is understanding that that darkness is within everything. Yet furthermore, that darkness is the perfection. That is the primordial mother that resides within all things. That is the superglue, which someone would refer to as the 0 point. We refer to it as the Wu Ji. The Wu Ji once entered by creating that within this unification, where you merge those energies together, you will find that you have the ability to create magic, the ability to create anything and everything from this electromagnetism, manifestation, magic, healing. Supernatural becomes supernormal. This is the currency. The currency is frequential. Once you acquire that, the energy has a vibration. The vibration has a frequency. The frequency, when met with resonance, that means you must hold the line. Your ability to hold that within this physical container is the evidence of such a state. You return to your true primordial self. You're no place, no person, no thing. And from that derives evidence that you are on that path, or you have arrived to that ascended path, which is the student is the teacher is the student. This will reveal itself as servitude, as selflessness. You desire nothing as you are whole. You are the present moment. And from that, it will all be revealed. And that, my friends, is the Taoist seeker to the Taoist knower. If you are thinking, you are not knowing. If you are knowing, you are feeling. That regulatory state will be revealed through the alchemical process, the internal energetic architecture that is burned into you as tangible, just as your physical flesh. That is the pulpability, the substance that we call Wu Wei. Effortless effort, effortless action. There is no more thinking. There is only knowing. And that will reside in your inaction, which is the state of Wu Wei. Serendipitous, synchronistic. It will be shown to you.
I think it's so amazing that people are understanding this. And again, for people unaware, or, I'll have all these questions that people are asking in my head. How does someone access the dark arts? How do they come across it? Is it something they already have? Is it something that they're discovering, acquiring?
Right. This is the whole deluded state of the human path. because you start to compartmentalize things.
Analyze, overanalyze.
Well, it's introspective analytical. This is part of the very programming of the human condition. So to access and merge the conscious and unconscious, you must reveal the true nature of reality, which is unification. This is the merging of everything. All is one, one is all. That comes from the Taoist path, the rite of passage, the Taoist rite of passage, which is to reveal and return to the truth, your absolute truth, your knowing who you are. And that is no place, no person, no thing. All places, all persons, all things. You are everything, and you are nothing at the same time. Now, to access that as not just a contemplation or a whimsical, mythical place or state to be, you must return to the currency of this material, which is the electromagnetism. And that is where you derive the mastery that is necessary for that to take place. So the center point, the vesica, which you reveal through the deciphering code of yin and yang, the bat signal, oh yeah, baby, you will find you are your Sherlock to your Watson. Elementary, my dear Watson. As the yin is within the yang is within the yin, we are all unified as that state of oneness. But we have forgotten. We have lost our way. And this is how you return. You return through these masteries, through these ancient practices. Furthermore, that's why Taoism is so sexy, baby. We get down with the get down. We give you all the goodies to remember who you are. And that comes from that center point. And we resolve and dissolve and return to the simplicity, which is so complex in of itself. Is the bellows, the contracting and the expanding, the breath, the inhale, the exhale, the yin and the yang, the center point. The center point, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, is within the breath. Holding of that state is the first access of absorbing the riches. And it will present itself experientially within the physical flesh. You will see it. You will feel it. You will know it. This is very said evidence from a thinker to a knower, from intellect to intuitive. You will refine yourself as the unified state of now, baby. And that mastery will be revealed to you as this is your path, this is your passage, this is your rights, your Taoist rights of knowing, oh yeah, that charge, baby. This is part of it. And there is no in between. And so that alchemical process is revealed from the red ruby, which is the center point for all Taoists, which is the stone that is captivated and is sacred in its nature and is protected, or the ambassador to that red ruby is the red phoenix, baby. And so when you witness the death of a star, the rising of the red phoenix, the revealing of black hole energy, unification is on. This knowing, this return to knowing will be experiential. You will feel it. It is not realized until you feel it within this electromagnetism. Oh, yeah, baby.
And do you think that when you say, like, you know, all is one, one is all, that instantly eliminates these emotional states that just dominate and possess people with, you know, anger, frustration, jealousy, envious, sadness, depression, anything that you can think of that would separate you from this all is one, one is all?
Well, this is, again,
feeling.
You resorted back to the simplicity of that. And right from the scriptures. By the way, if you ever want to pick up the Tao Te Ching transcribed by me directly as I commune with my teacher, the wisdom teachings of Lao Tzu directly in 2024, baby. Pick it up. It's in the link. It's in the bio. Get hooked up with the magical register because it is all revealed to you. Now, as said, the 1 becomes the 2 becomes the 3 becomes the 9,000. This is evidence of this. This can be reflected within a physics model of understanding. When you unify, the physics model would refer to the singular. The singular is evidence of this. We access, this is where the neurology comes in, the neurology which is revealed as the numerology, the numbers, baby. This is your receipts. The numbers will give you everything you need to know. As a Taoist, we know the highest number is 9. Now, you can take any angle you want as a polymath, entering through mathematics or geometry. You will find this very evidence. The 9 will always return to the 1 or the 0. Let me repeat myself. The 9 will always return to the 1 and or the 0. It's either 1 or 0. You're either all or nothing. Oh, mic drop. And this goes deep into the nature of the math, of the numbers, the numerology. And that's why we revere the 9 as the highest point, and it is revealed through all the wisdom teaching. Everything is an account of 9. Everything is in the breath of 9. Everything is in the action of 9. Everything is in the knowing of 9, baby. And that 1 is the mother, the unification, the wholeness. And that 1, as we refer to the magical register, the incantation that gives you the very evidence of that, that incantation is a reflection of the primordial to you, the yang. Your yin to your yang is revealed as the now moment. Oh, yeah. And by sharing this, by embodying this, because you start that seed, the 1 goes to the 2 to the 3 to 9,000. These are all evidence that within the physics model, the idea that the singular, that we are all interconnected. This is where you reveal it through the primordial mother, through the void. The only differentiator from a physics model is understanding that that secret source, we call it the chi, the substance, reveals itself not as just absorption, but expansion. That the light and the dark are the same. Yeah. And you see it in all things. You can experience it in all things. And your Shazam moment is your ability to access it as such.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on right now. I think it's incredible. And I think for people who are still being blown away with like, how is a 1 a 9 and how is a 0 a 9? How is that even? I can feel it. It makes me feel a certain way, but intellectually, how am I processing that it makes sense for me?
Well, that's the beauty of what we speak of. You can refer to the mathematics, you can refer to the geometry, you can refer to a polymath. There are plenty of them these days. They are other wisdom teachers that come in that form, that basically decipher the numbers as this metaphysical knowing and power that all resides as everything. You are me, I am you. And so with the simplicity of that, when I say 9 can be 1 or 0, and you feel that, that's all you need to know, baby. Now, you can go deep through your inquiry. This is the exciting path, the passage, the right, the Taoist rights of that passage that you access, you reveal, Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. Your truth will be revealed as the absolute, as that's the only absolute is your truth. No one else's. Mm-hmm. And it will come in that form of this physical flesh being the barometer to reveal that through the artistry, the mastery. We refer to that because when you are humanistic, you have deciphered this reality as the currency is emotions. And, I always remind you, when you are emotional, you are suggestible. As you resort to the simplistic, mundane reality of the human condition, you will see evidence of a diminished return. You will see evidence of deficiency because furthermore, as your intention goes to that, you will feel evidence of physically being exhausted. This is a fallacy. This is not true. Yet if you are in the said belief system, which has yet to become a knowing, this will be your evidence. And from that, the more intention you put to your emotional state, and the more intention for you to avoid these emotional currencies, the currency of this electromagnetism, you will continually be swept away with this diluted state. And furthermore, the idea of virtue signaling is at a whole nother level. As we put to you a proposition, we contemplate the true said idea of knowing, which comes from the fact that when you are electric, you are magnetic. When you are magnetic, you are electric. When you are yin, you are yang. When you are good, you are bad. If you exhibit heaven and hell, this is the very example of what we speak of. When you are unified, you no longer tap into the physical flesh. This is part of the Sherlock to your Watson crumbs that you are given as your path, your rite of passage, your Taoist rite of passage is to remember that you are unified.
And I was going to say, I'm having my Watson. Don't you think that ultimately the powers to be, whoever they are, wanted to make sure we didn't remember that? We don't remember that? This spiritual warfare
Yes.
of separating you on every level, whether it's, you're righteous, you go to heaven, you're bad, you go to hell, when it's like, there really isn't, like, you're all things, this very separation of duality and really embedding that, culturally, religiously throughout the world, to completely separate us from this knowing that, we are all things.
Amen, sister. Amen. This is the cycle within the human timeline. Mm-hmm. Spirituality, atheism, religion. I'm bringing back the old pink. The new pink is belief.
Yeah.
The new pink is seeking to find the knowing and returning to who you are, which seems to be poo-hooed within a non-dualistic path that is a very common realization these days. Yet you will find, as I was referring to, within Taoism, we have this very, very clear understanding that if you act in virtue, you have none. This is the very polar opposite of your human condition. So you can observe so many things, but your desire to be repulsed by anything is your evidence. When you look for judgment and you see it within someone as you perceive them as such, you don't look the right way, you don't speak the right way, you don't smell the right way, using your senses to decipher what you perceive as reality is a facet. And when you come to this realization that unification is all things, you are me, I am you, the fear becomes the fearless. Mm-hmm. And that fearless resides in the knowing. And all of a sudden, you are not subject to this limited humanistic perspective. And this is what we call detaching. To attach, you cross over to a point of no return. That means that your every breath, your very action, your every knowing is you are the physical, energetic, and spiritual manifestation of divine word, will, light, love of the Tao.
Wow.
And that will present itself. That you no longer have to think, you know. The default, the servitude, the selflessness is that very evidence. And it comes from the alchemical processes. And that philosopher's stone that everyone desires, that people through an occult, esoteric passage that has been going on for centuries within the Western world, has been nurtured and known about within the Eastern world for thousands of years, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we have shown that through our ancient practices. To turn water into wine, then said turn lead into gold.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing that you were talking like, if I am you and you are me, what is there to be fearful about? This thing that you see within other people that upsets you about that person is really within yourself. And I think, religion kind of stands on this self-righteous stone of, I forgive you for your my judgment of you ultimately, because it's from your lens and your perspective, whereas that person might go, well, I didn't do anything. I don't know what you're forgiving me for. But this idea of this separation and this deunification of us as people, us as a collective, is so evident, yet it shapes itself in a pretty little box of, even just a spiritual, space on YouTube. There's friction, which is so unnecessary, yet it wraps itself up as, no, we're conscious, we're evolved, we're ascended.
Right. And that brings us back to the currency of this material, which is electromagnetism.
Absolutely.
Your thoughts are electric, your body is magnetic. You merge the two to create the one.
Mm-hmm.
The one creates the two, the 3, 9,000.
That's
Ooh, baby.
We're gonna get someone in the comments going, no way, how in the world does 3 go to 9,000?
When you do the math, when you do the geometry, it always returns to the highest point of 9, and that 9 is either 1 or 0. And that's all you need to know.
Right.
The complexity of that, you can lean on your local polymath. You can lean on said scientists, but these numbers don't lie. And
No.
that shows you the evidence of you are all or nothing. That's why the Taoists are embodied in that numerology, and that number is so powerful. It is the highest point of ascension. This is revealed through all our wisdom teachings that gives back to you this very understanding. That chill that you get up your spine right now is that very knowing. Oh yeah, baby. And that comes in that currency. So when you have someone who's virtue signaling, you know this because I'm a good person is the very evidence that they are not.
Right.
The need to decipher the individual or you as a lens of individuality, where it's not objective, it's subjective. You are using your intellect to decipher the nature of reality, which cannot be. It cannot be revealed from this very limited lens. All the truth is not from the yang, it's within the yin. The yin is the evidence of the intuitive. When you cross over, the left eye enters the soul. The soul is part of the very axis of the right side of your brain, which is all intuitive, baby. Oh, yeah. And anyone who is in doubt, go and walk up to someone and look into their soul. and be mesmerized by what is revealed. The truth will be shown to you. Your truth, their truth, all truth, absolute unification. And this is the universal thing, is you will not have a diluted subjective version as you ascend. Your ascension is bringing furthermore your lens from a very narrow lens to an unobstructed lens that sees all things. And the evidence will be your servitude and your selflessness. There will be no misdirection. There will be no diluted, conflated idea of what that is through your personality, because the emotions will not be the currency. And then you ascend from a Taoist path, which starts with love that's subjective, to gratitude, to accepting and allowing all things. That is what we call being. The now moment. This is the very evidence of the primordial mother, the unification of all things. And that is undeniable, baby.
Yeah. And I think that is such the importance and excitement of the self-mastery as you start to dissolve and separate away from, the emotional patterns, the emotional traits that were taught to you from your parents, or you absorbed as a child or whatever. And you start to really see the truth, the source, the everything in front of you, and you go, oh, well, even if I don't like this answer, I know this is, I feel it. It's the answer. Even if I don't like it, that it starts to just become irrelevant, and you just start to align yourself and everything. And you find yourself, the more you do it, just falling into synchronicity, falling into serendipity and the void and this flow and this currency.
Everything is effortless.
That is just effortless. This Wu way, the ultimate. Right. As a Taoist.
Right. And that will be an expression of every thought, every action, every breath will reside in that selflessness and servitude. And furthermore, will bring us to the power of this very said incantation that the Jade Emperor always reminds us of. A power abundant in its giving you will receive, unifying the body with the spirit with the energy, bringing heaven to earth, transcending all is one, one is all, revealing perfection manifest. That is your gift, that is your offering. That is your gift, that is your offering. That is your gift, that is your offering. Yeah, baby. Let that resonate. Hold that line, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. Feel the visceral, somatic, kinesthetic response, your symbiotic realization that the yin and yang resides in the unification, that symbiosis is the very said evidence of now. Yeah, baby. It brings me back to a very fond memory that I had as a young boy. I've always been in the creative side of my reality. Creating is the very nature of the human expression. Your ambassador to planet Earth is your creation and your raising of that said frequency that returns everyone to empathy. And from that, my desire and my pursuit of this creation through arts, and you call it the light art, the dark art. This is resemblant of creating in of itself. So my obsession as a child with Michelangelo brings me to my obsession and my teacher, Lao Tzu, even before I was reunited with him consciously, biologically, over 30 years ago. As a young boy, it was presented to me, my desires. He was leading me in this path. And it brings me to this point. On the roof of the Sistine Chapel, my very imagination was created and unified with my affinity with Michelangelo, the artiste, and he drew this incredible expression of the unification of all those things as God floating in the sky, reaching down to touch Adam's finger as he lays on planet Earth. And this was more than symbolic. If you look at the very artwork, God is actually sitting or reaching out, floating in what would seem to be a cloak. Furthermore, in further inquiry, further observation, further curiosity, it resembles the dissection of the human brain. And God sits right in that center point, which we refer to as the three treasures, the three ancient treasures: pituitary, pineal, and thalamus. And you can't make this shit up. Go look it up for yourself. Furthermore, through more inquiry, it could even present itself as the human heart. But this is said evidence. You feel what I'm saying. You don't even have to have ever seen Michelangelo to know it is true to you. And that is the power we speak of. And this is being exhibited and shared with us on this conscious creation that we have within our path, our righteous path, our path of Taoist, the Taoist rights. And it will be shown to you within every second of every minute until you are reunited and it feels so good.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, that's no coincidence that he painted that.
Oh, no.
But that was a download. Do you think? I feel like there are these, like, it's like a treasure map of finding these, spiritual, enlightened little crumbs everywhere. That's one of them. And I'm sure at the time when that was actually being painted, he wasn't like, oh, this is going to be remembered for 500 years. It was like, okay, this is, I have this vision, this idea I think is mine, and put it out there. But yet it is such a powerful symbol worldwide that people don't even realize, why am I so attracted to it? Why do I have to go see it in person? Why am I feeling this frequency, this energy, this moment when I'm there that's so, you tap into it and it's just so intense.
Well, it's so magnetic.
Oh, it's magnetic. It's gorgeous.
Magnetism, an expression of said yin, but the yin is not the primordial mother. The primordial mother is the unification. Yin is another expression of this symbiotic magnetism, electric evidence of this currency. There is a vast difference. And you will come to realize that. And furthermore, when speaking with Michelangelo, as you know, I'm a prolific channeler, he is very clear that his insight came from his relationship with the church. And the Sistine Chapel is heavily documented as a place of worship within the Catholic path. But furthermore, they're the keeper of many wisdom knowledges that go way beyond Catholicism. And when you get down to somewhere like the Vatican, you're going to find out that they have access to all sorts of information from all timelines within human history.
Wow.
And so his relationship was a path of his faith with God, and his very words were very clear. God spoke to me and told me to draw it this way. And his reflecting on that right now is his own Sherlock to his Watson, the epiphany. His epiphany, going, holy moly.
Mm-hmm.
I was just inspired through my relationship with God to draw this incredible angelic expression of this most beautiful form of perfection. And he was giving me the answers right there.
Wow.
That's all right, Mikey. Come back for a re-up, bro. We'll see you soon, my brother. And that is what we speak of. Mm-hmm. That is the true power of the now moment. And come with me on this magical mystery ride as we turn down the lights and commune with the energy, this currency. And we bring you into a brief moment of your symbiotic knowing, the merging of yin and yang energy, the electromagnetism revealed as perfection, and asking my dear co-host, Jadis, is there anything you would like to conclude with today that you want to share with the audience that we have not already blown their mind?
Yeah. No, I just think it's so interesting when you were delivering the beautiful incantation that I instantly closed my eyes. And I know so many people do, to close their eyes to have that amplitude to feel even more. And it just brings us right back to that dark arts and this, imagination, creation.
From the darkness comes light.
Absolutely.
Furthermore, the absorption of the darkness is to absorb the light.
Yeah. So many.
Mic drop.
So many different. I mean, you could go on 100 different facets of, the darkness, the light, the eyes closing, the bringing it in, the whole thing. And I think it's really just amazing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my Watson to my Sherlock.
Your Sherlock to your Watson to your Sherlock. Elementary, my dear Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we conclude this commune with our beautiful, amazing community, and welcome you to always know that we leave the lights on. Oh yeah, baby. And with that, let's resume regular programming as usual by communing with this frequency as you feel the vibratory effects of my very intention. What a coincidence. Take a moment right now and breathe with us as you close your eyes, open your eyes. Take a moment, unify, and it's time to remember. And with that, breathe in for a 9 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Oh, yeah, baby. Be that amber, that hot coal, that spark of yang, as you reveal the yin, as the primordial mother presents herself, as you are unified with all things, and you feel it through your barometer, your tuning fork, your physical flesh. That saturation, that absorbing of the riches is revealed to you right here, right now. I want to thank my co-host, High Priestess Jade. I want to thank you, the audience, for your perfection, your unification, your now moment. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Qing.